All right, we are live here with Dr. Ben, one of our clients in Wealthy Body Academy. I'm super excited to be interviewing you here, man. Actually, really excited for this interview because it's been a wild ride so far. I'm excited for you to kind of explain what you've been through. Before we dive into this, as you're jumping on here, go ahead and drop a hashtag live in the comment section below if you're watching this live with us, or if you're watching the replay, drop a hashtag replay. And without further ado, just dive right in. Ben, I'm excited for this. I'm ready for you to. I've been really pumped for you to just kind of share your story, and I'll give you a little introduction, and I'll let you also talk about yourself. But you are a kind of a rarity in the Wealthy Body Academy. We typically work with entrepreneurs, which you are, but guys who are looking to lose weight, really optimize and integrate health into their lifestyle. And while we've done that for you, you're a little bit different because you are obviously a doctor. You will specialize in autoimmune, helping people with autoimmune disorders and diseases. So I want to just give you the floor here. We're obviously going to go into all your physical transformations, your mental transformations, but let's start off from the basics and tell everybody who you are, what do you do, and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Dr. Ben Benulis. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a chiropractor by trade. I work with people with autoimmune disease, so lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, multiple sclerosis, conditions with the immune system's attacking the body, and I help them reverse it with diet and lifestyle because that's something that I went through about 10, 11 years ago and had to figure it all out on my own. And so now I coach people through that. So I'm really big into health and fitness and helping people with that. And so we're more so on the health side than the fitness side. We can talk about that later, but yeah, basically helping people reverse chronic diseases that are considered incurable with diet and lifestyle.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're doing some amazing work. Definitely check out his stuff. We'll kind of link to your Instagram, everything at the end of this video, because I do think you'd be, for people that are going through that kind of stuff, or you'd be will be a massive benefit to them. So with that said, so obviously you're a doctor, you're super passionate about health. So tell everybody a little bit about, what kind of where you were before you joined the program. And obviously for you, it's more so you can go into your health story a little bit, as well as, obviously for you, the big thing was mindset, productivity, more on that realm. So if you want to real quickly just touch on, maybe your backstory a little bit, as well as, what you were struggling with before we met, and then we'll kind of dive into why you decided to join.
Sure. So my way backstory real quick is, in my late 20s, I came down with what I didn't know at the time was an autoimmune disease, but I had really bad chronic pain, really bad chronic fatigue, really bad digestive issues, really bad skin issues. And it got to the point where I could barely work and do my job. I was working as an engineer at the time, and went and sought medical help, medical advice, medical treatment, and really just got the runaround. And basically, we can't really figure out what's wrong with you. All your blood work looks normal. Go see this guy, go see that guy. And just kind of got the runaround, and eventually just was it got so bad. I was like, y'all can't help me. I got to figure this out on my own. Started just researching and just went into mad scientist mode and came across information that said if you change your diet, maybe you can get well. It was not something I really wanted to do, but I was kind of painted into a corner. And so I started doing that and reversed my condition. So anyway, fast forward to, it was September, I think was when we talked, or October.
Yep.
I had just been through a pretty rough breakup, and I was just not doing too well mentally and physically. Take good care of my health. I exercise, a fair amount, but I was just in a really bad headspace, dealing with a lot of anxiety, depression, and feeling what am I doing? Things aren't adding up. And I had met up with Zach, who was a client of yours, who's a friend of mine. And it just sort of came up in conversation that he'd been through this breakup, I think a year and a half ago or 2 years ago at that point, that really rocked him. And he's signing up with Justin was what helped me, kind of come back from that and get my fitness in order. And then we were just talking about different things, and just how he manages his time, and how he's so disciplined with waking up at 4 a.m. every day, and all these things he's creating in his life. And he's listen, getting the fitness down was the keystone. And once I was able to do that, I was able to apply that discipline in all these other areas of my life. And I was like, whoa, I need that, whatever that is, gimme, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So I remember you guys said that on our initial call. You're like, you know, you obviously you sat down and listened to my pitch and kind of I explained what was in the program. One of the first things where you're just like, you know, I'm looking at Zach and I've seen the massive transformation with him. Whatever he has, just give it to me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, let's talk real quick. So let's just because I think a lot of people resonate with this because again, you're a little bit different than most people, but you still have obviously the entrepreneurial background. You are you're a go-getter. You've got a lot going on. Your time is limited. So before you decide, you obviously talked to Zach and you decide this is something you want to commit to. What was it? You know, I know you said you went through a breakup, but maybe dive a little bit deeper into some of the mindset troubles and just things. I know you were telling me about anxiety and just little things you're dealing with. Just so I think a lot of people will probably resonate with this because I know a lot of business owners are watching this. They have crazy schedules. They all have a lot going on. You know, the pressure of all that stuff, anxiety definitely gets to them. So I'd love to kind of hear, you know, before you started the program, where were you kind of at with that?
Well, entrepreneurially, I've been spinning my wheels for a while. And I think one of the things that like, you know, the relationship I was in, one of the reasons she broke up with me is like, I see all this potential in you, but you're like constantly like sabotaging, like getting in your own way. And like, I can't, like, it's just painful to be around. And so I knew that I was doing that. Like I was basically like treading water in my business. Like I was like kind of making enough money to get by. And I had all this potential to do more, but I was always just sort of like giving excuses and screwing around and like wasting time and not being very like disciplined or focused and being very addicted to my phone and so so I dealt with a lot of anxiety as a consequence of like not being very focused because I was always worried about the next thing and then like getting nothing done because I was so scatterbrained. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but like and just basically not having structure, being like, well, I'm an entrepreneur, just kind of do things when I want and like and then kind of nothing got done. So it was like when I was like, you know, what you talked about, like, you know, build in your fun, then build in your fitness, then build in your business. And it was like I took that approach and like really started creating structure, and that helped everything.
100%. So we'll dive into that. So again, it really sounds like for you, and again, I see it so often. A lot of guys that come in the program, it's more so they are obviously you're drinking like some healthy juice right now. You have a lot of the health aspects on point, and most people you were struggling more with the mental side of stuff. A lot of guys that come in, they're kind of the opposite. Not the opposite. They're struggling with mental and physical. And what I found is you really have to take the physical approach first and foremost because that really sets the foundation. We have worked on some stuff with you as well. So my question for you, Ben, is, you know, dive a little bit deeper. You know, you obviously you're going through this trouble. You saw your business wasn't going at the level that you knew it could be. You know, you were self-sabotaging. It was affecting your relationships. You know, what really, you know, you talked to me, you saw what happened with Zach. I'm just curious, you know, for you, what was really that kind of, did you have a point where you're just like, this needs to change? And then what really got you to kind of step up and make that change? And then we'll talk about your results a little bit.
Well, I think the breakup was the catalyst. It was like, I was sort of like investing all, like she was sort of like, once she was gone, I kind of had to deal with myself. There was no one else around, right? And I kind of had to just examine like, okay, all these things that, you know, are not working out for me. Like I got to address them. It was like the off, and it was, and you know, I've always been into fitness, you know, but here's the thing, and you know, I have some fitness accomplishments under my belt, but it was always like I would just kind of do good enough to like kind of get by, and like not be fat and overweight and out of shape, like decently fit. But I would like, you know, kind of like lackadaisical with the workouts. It's just kind of scoot by. And that was reflected, that kind of like, I'll just kind of scoot by was like reflecting into like my relationships, my business, everything else. And I kind of realized that, and I was like, well, I don't like that I do this with my fitness. Like part of my ego is like, hey, I'm just kind of, you know, I don't need to work out that much. You know, I don't need to go that hard in the gym. I can go there, show up, throw some weights around for 30 minutes and text on my phone and scoot out of there. And it was like, I realized like that kind of mentality was like super pervasive through my life, and that needed to change if I was going to get where I wanted to be.
100%. Yeah, I always say, and I know you heard me say this a bunch of times, but the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And I really believe that, there's so much you can't control in this world. I probably said this in all of the client reviews, testimonial videos we've done, but there's so much you can't control in this world. Business is tough to control, even relationships, but the one thing you can't control is your body. And if you're not taking the responsibility to really take that to the next level, where else is that showing up in your life, which is exactly what happened to you. So with that said, Ben, moving forward, you obviously recognize that, which is great. It's really the first step, is just seeing that and recognizing it's time to make a change. So let's talk about, you decided to join the program. You've re-signed, you're in the master program. You're stuck with me for the next, I don't know, what is it, another 9 months or so. But when you first joined, what would you say were like the biggest kind of aha moments for you and changes that obviously you talk about some of the things we started creating in the program in your life? What really started making a shift for you towards, obviously right now your business is improving, your health is improving, your relationships, all that stuff. So tell me like where, what were some of the biggest aha moments for you?
I think it was just creating structure for everything was huge. And like having a routine and having a bedtime and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like, once I started doing that, and that was like the skeleton for things, then like everything else just kind of like that was like, okay, once I have this, then it's like I can build upon it. Totally.
It's like when you're building a house, you need to have the foundation. That's, again, the biggest thing is so many guys we work with, they try to make this change and implement health into their life and implement workouts and nutrition and sleep and stress and all these different factors that we talk about, yet they don't have a structure in their day. Their routines aren't set. So when the routines aren't set, you can, even if you stick to a program for 30 days, 90 days, if you don't have those routines in place, it's just so easy to kind of fall off track. I'm sure you can resonate with that a little bit, right?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize how hard it was to like really develop the habits of these things, And I was like,
yeah,
they kept falling off the wagon. And I was like, glad I had the group there and you there to like not let me fall,
Yeah, totally.
It's so easy to get psyched out on your own and just kind of give up. And when you have that accountability, it's a different story.
Exactly. And I think it's so big because that's why I wanted to bring you on here is you're a doctor of chiropractic, you're an autoimmune specialist. You're someone who isn't my ideal client, yet you're still someone who's showing up here and investing in your health and investing in your productivity, which I know you said for you, your biggest, the biggest results you've seen is productivity, focus, mindset. So how is that? I want to ask you, like, how has that shown up, like up until right now? Like, what has really changed in your life? Let's talk about some of your results. You can talk about physical results, mental results, like, like what's really shifted for you since the beginning?
I would say my overall like mood and level of happiness and focus and just like growing my business are the two things that have accelerated the most. Like, yeah, I'm more consistent in the gym and then like, got a few new veins in my abs and
yeah,
I don't really care. I honestly don't care.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, I've signed up with business coaches in the past, but one thing they could never really do for me was accountability. I never really needed to be told like what to do. I just needed the like accountability to make sure I follow through. And that's one thing that your program has helped me with tremendously. And as a direct reflection of that, like my business has grown a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe it sounds like counterintuitive to anybody listening on the line, but it's just like that's the thing that I came for and I got and I'm still getting and so I'm with you for good, it's like
I love it. It. Yeah, that's awesome. And then I guess if someone who's watching this, obviously I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know if we have any comments coming in right now. I might even just pull it up to check. But someone who's watching this, again, you work with you work with men and women. I say guys because in Wealthy Body we specifically work with men. You work with people who are struggling with their health, and obviously for you were dealing with more mental side of things, you got a long journey for the physical. But someone watching this, and I know I was in this path as well when I was in the email marketing space. It's really easy to be like, I'm just gonna work all the time, grind my ass off. Health can come later. Everything else can come, like relationships can come later. I know for you that was a big shift. You were working. I know we did a mandatory day off where you just kind of took the time off for yourself. If someone's like, maybe tell a little bit of your story, but someone's watching this and they're on the fence and they want to make a change to their health, but they're so wrapped up in business and they think they need to always be go, go, go. What advice would you have for them as they're listening right now?
You got to think long term, and business is a long-term game. And if you don't have your health, you don't have your business. And I know that because I've been there. I like, this is not like, I went to a point where I was working as an employee, I was an entrepreneur, but I was at the point with my health where I could not work. Like, it became priority number one because it was like if I don't have my health, I literally can't work and make money. And so a lot of these guys who maybe see that, like, if you're like an investment and you're long-term minded, you got to realize that, like, your health is your number one investment, because it's like, because number one, might not be able to work and make money. Number two, it's like, the money can't buy you can't buy your own health back. It's 100%. Like, you can't just medicate your way back to from things you behave your way into. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
So that's what I would say. It's like, look at it as a long-term investment in your business.
100%. It's like, it's the same thing with, people that are investors. Like, you put money into the stock market or whatever because you want to make a return on investment. You want 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x your investment. The same thing goes with, I hear a lot, time's an issue. And I know, you've got a business, you're actually also doing side work. You've got tons of stuff going on. For you, like, when it comes to time, like, what's your perspective on putting time into your health, and how has that like impacted? I know you said your business growing. Like, how has that impacted? How has going through this program impacted your relationships and your business? Like, if you want to maybe go into some detail or just overall, like, what's really changed for you?
So wait, what's the question exactly?
So with you, obviously, so time is a big thing. So when it comes to time, most people see like it's difficult to make time. So how is like putting the time into this program? Because a lot of people are kind of like, I don't have time to commit to something new. That's one of the things I hear a lot is, like, I want to make a change, but I just don't have the bandwidth right now to really learn a new skill or to make this change in my life. For you, when it comes to time, how has investing your quote unquote time into this maybe freed up other areas of your life or impacted, business, relationships, etc.?
Well, I think the main thing is that, if you're healthy and you're fit and you're focused and, like, you're physically well and you're mentally well, you can perform better in the time that you do have. Like, you can't look at time as this like absolute currency that, like, there's no difference between an hour of work when you're like barely focused and frazzled versus an hour when you're like lasered in. It's night and day. It's 5-6x the amount.
100%.
So it's very easy to look at time as this like kind of universal currency, but it's not. Like, time that you're focused and well and all that stuff is like, you're gonna get way more done, produce way more with that. So it's like, and you can invest the time in being well, or you can invest the time ultimately in not being well. And much more expensive. It's a lot less fun. Health is a way better investment in my experience.
100%. I think the key to life is having a quality of life, but also, like, people want to live long, but I think it's also like you got to combine the quality and the quantity. Living a long life, living a good life as well. And I at least for me, and I know for you, living a good life means being healthy, feeling good mentally, physically, and all that good stuff. So we'll get this wrapped up, man. Again, I'm so pumped that you came on here. I know I keep saying this, but you're not the typical client in the program. But with that said, it's been an honor working with you and seeing the changes in your life has been amazing. I just want to ask you one last question. For you, we've got a lot of levels to the program. We got accountability, mindset stuff, strategy. What has been your favorite part of this transformation, of this maybe specifically with the program, or just your favorite part about everything that you've gone through over the past like 6 months or so?
I would just say that I feel like you're really invested in me. Like I was going through a period where one of the things I'm working on is writing a book, and I went through about a 3 to 4 week period where I went through a couple of bad periods. One, my dog died early on in the program, and it was a real psych out, and then just some other stuff came up, and I kind of fell off writing the book a couple of times. And you did not let me live it down ever.
Yep.
It's like you knew that was important to me, and you like held me to that standard. And so like the accountability and just knowing that like the tough love is like, I mean, that's just been invaluable.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I that's one of the big things I do with the program, as you know, is, and I actually give a shit. I'm excited that, again, I'm glad that you're here, and it's been an honor working with you. That said, we'll get this interview wrapped up. If you want to real quick, just kind of share where people can find you, because again, Wealthy Body has a specific niche. You have a specific niche, and if there's anyone watching on my friends list or whatever that could use you, I'm more than happy to refer over. So where can people, what's the best way for people to kind of find more about you?
Just search my name. Got a very unique name, Dr. Benjamin Benulis. That's my name on Instagram. That's my name on YouTube, Facebook. That's my website, drbenjaminbenulis.com. Just look for me. I'll show up. Instagram is probably the platform where I'm the most active.
Awesome. Great. Well, that ends the interview. If you guys have any questions for me or Ben, just go ahead and comment down below in the comment section down below. And yeah, I hope you guys got some value out of this video. Again, my name is Justin Phelps, the creator of the Wealthy Body Academy. If you need some more information on transforming your health, go into my profile bio. I've got a quiz in there. I've got a free PDF. I got some goodies you can use to really bring your health to the next level. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.